Today I have Susan Murphy, who is a media and communications expert. She's also a digital storyteller and co-founded Jester Creative, a digital creative agency in Ottawa. She also works part-time at Algonquin College, very passionate about her pets. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you for having me, Malcolm.
So you and Jennifer are listed as co-founders on the Jester Creative website. Can you tell me how Jester Creative started and what your co-founder dynamic is like?
Sure, yeah, I'd love to. You know, they always say never go into business with your best friend, and Jen and I didn't listen to that insight at all, and we were we've been best friends for 25 years, and 15 years ago we started a business together, and we haven't looked back. It started over many bottles of wine. Jen was a young mother at the time, and or just about to become a young mother at the time. And I was sort of looking for what my next thing was going to be. And we just decided that, between her sort of creative dynamic and her wonderful aesthetic and her capability as a producer of many, many types of media, and then my experience in new media, and as it was called at the time, and other things, we just decided we were going to try something. But as far as the dynamic goes, we kind of treat it like a marriage in a way. It's interesting because we decided a long time ago. It's like never fight about money, right? Never lie to each other. Always be honest. Always be truthful, and you'll have a happy relationship. And so we took that into our business, and we haven't looked back.
What's been the most surprising thing about building Jester Creative?
The amazing people we've been able to work with and the amazing diversity of projects that we've been able to do. We do website design, but we also do video production. Jen and I both come from a television background. So we do video production, we do social media strategy, we do all of these different things. Anything digital, basically, we're doing it. And we have this extremely diverse clientele. Everything from your usual sort of government projects. Ottawa is a government town. That's where I live. To nonprofit organizations, to food products, to just about everything you can imagine. And, I've learned things about subjects that I never knew I would have to learn about, and I've become an expert on subjects that I never knew I would have to learn about. And so that really keeps it interesting and fun. Kind
of changing gears a little bit, you spend a fair bit of time teaching at a local college in Ottawa, and I find that really interesting. That's pretty unique. I don't know a lot of founders that divide their time that way. I mean, there's a lot of people that talk about giving back, but you're actually actively doing that. Do you ever feel like that's taking a little bit away from your business in terms of time and attention and opportunity, or how do you value that in terms of your business growth?
Mm-hmm. I've been a teacher for over 25 years, and I just love it. And I think that's one of the main reasons that I do it, is because I really, really enjoy it. But, there is a little bit of a selfish angle to it too, because I feel like I have to keep on top of my game. If I'm going to teach other people, I have to know what's going on, right? So, so I think that as much as I enjoy working with the students and nurturing them along and helping and giving back in that way, I also have that selfish angle of, it keeps me sharp, right? It keeps me having to stay on top of the industry and know what's going on at all times.
In terms of the students that you have today, in terms of entrepreneurs today, I mean, it's a very different world now than it was when you started Jester Creative. So if you were to sit down a young entrepreneur today, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of, making their mark?
Mm-hmm. You have to find what makes you special and makes you unique, right? You have to find that thing that sort of sets you apart from the millions of other people out there that are doing the same thing. And, and that's a really hard thing to do. And it takes a long time to figure that out. But put the work in at the beginning to figure out what it is that is the special thing that you bring to the equation.
So I figured out what's special about me, what's unique about me. But the world we live in is so noisy. Social media is noisy. Everywhere's noisy at this point, right? Magazines, newspapers, radio, TV. It's all just an endless barrage of advertisements, marketing, people pushing. And so it's increasingly hard to kind of get the word out about the things that you're doing. What's your favorite thing to do that helps you gain attention for your business? My favorite thing to gain attention in the business is to meet people. It's so weird, to do that offline thing where I'm just sort of connecting with people and meeting them. And oftentimes I'm meeting them through other people that I know.
which is kind of cool, right? So somebody comes along, I work with them or I know them, and then I'm able to connect with somebody in person, or not even in person, but at least over the phone or some way. But I think that there's a lot of power in actually going out and meeting people and shaking hands and saying hello and getting to know people on that level.
The next thing I want to do is ask you or invite you to let people know where they can find you, what you have going on, either personally, professionally, or just in general.
Well, the easiest way to find me is to Google me, believe it or not. You call up Susan Murphy, Ottawa on Google, you'll find out all about me. You'll find out where to reach me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, which I use periodically to post pictures of my cats and my food. And you can visit us at jestercreative.com at any point to find out more about what our business does. And I would be happy to hear from you, Sue at jestercreative.com. You can email me anytime you want, and happy to talk about the projects that you're working on.